My name is James Kane, and I first found out about River City Underground back in 2020. And 2020 was a rough time. There was a lot of political upheaval and a lot of polarization and us versus them, especially on social media. And so I remember around that time, I was feeling a lot of anxiety about sharing with others, not just about politics, but really about anything where there was potential for disagreement, because I was afraid that I would be judged or rejected or made to feel like an outsider. And so I remember just being really anxious to find something that would help me to understand how to navigate this kind of like social unrest and how to even just be comfortable with discussing things that were like really difficult topics. And I ended up finding something, thankfully, that was exactly what I was looking for. And it was the Faithful Politics podcast. And that podcast has Will Wright, who is the one who started the podcast. And he asked Josh to co-host it with him. And, you know, Will does the more political side and Josh does the more faith side. So that's where the Faithful Politics comes in. And the other thing about it is that they come from different sides of the political aisle. So the discussions were pretty awesome because even though they disagreed, they were able to disagree in a way that was constructive, in a way where you could tell that no matter if it was them talking to each other or talking to a guest, they were always genuinely interested in the other person and really trying to understand where they were coming from. And the example that they set as I listened, because I listened to it for months, it really made me feel like this is the way that we should be having conversations as a society, and especially the way that we should be having conversations as Christians. And so I was just really impressed, and I was really excited when I realized that both of them were local. And so I immediately went to social media and reached out to Josh and explained to him how I was feeling a lot of anxiety about all kinds of things, from theology to politics and science and all kinds of other stuff that, like whatever you can think of that was in the media that were hot topics. I was definitely, having that anxiety about discussing it with anybody and being just super vulnerable with them. And but wanted to talk to him because the example of what I'd seen on the podcast made me really excited to figure out what was going on from his aspect as a pastor. Like, what are you doing in this area even? And so I got to know him more by reaching out to him, and we connected and we talked via Zoom because it was the pandemic and things like that. But even in that first conversation, when I talked with him, he was incredibly curious and humble, just like he was on the podcast. And I remember he ended the conversation by asking me, hey, what can I do for you? How can I serve you? And it was just so welcoming and, it, of course, encouraged me to continue to connect. And as I did, I just formed these relationships with him and with Will and some other folks in River City Underground. And I ended up telling my wife about it. And of course, she started forming some connections. And we were both really incredibly impressed and excited to have these types of relationships where we could feel safe, to be vulnerable. And that's something that I've continued to see and has really impacted me about River City Underground, is that Josh and Ashley are leading a community of folks who are just incredibly humble people, and definitely has been an amazing experience as far as the exact opposite of everything that's going on in the media and the public, especially related to politics, but also religion. And what I'm excited to see for River City Underground is just a continuation of this, because we are a very diverse group. We just like Josh and Will, like we don't agree on everything, and we come from different backgrounds and different levels of understanding about politics and about religion and about all these other things. And yet we're able to get along, and we're able to learn and grow from each other because we are curious, and we are very much interested in learning about each other and valuing each other. And I know that Josh and Ashley are a big part of that. One of the things that they always say whenever there's something that anybody's nervous about, even me being nervous about making this video, they always say things like, people are the most important thing. People matter way more than whatever else can be stressful. And those are the type of things that encourage people to actually be real enough to share not just their views, but their personal struggles. And Josh and Ashley also lead in that. They are amazing about being vulnerable about their own struggles, which encourages others to be encouraged about theirs. And then we get to serve each other and minister to one another in ways that truly and deeply bless us in the ways that we need it most. And so if you don't know anything about what's been going on with River City Underground, hopefully this helps. And hopefully you continue to want to learn more about Josh and Ashley and what they're doing. And if you're supporting them, I thank you, because I've been positively impacted by what they're doing. And if you're not supporting them, then I hope you consider it. And I hope you even check out the Faithful Politics podcast if you haven't already, because all the things that are going on with River City Underground and what Josh and Ashley are doing is some really good stuff. And I've been really blessed by it.